Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am Lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, entertainment, sleep, or even just comforting you with ASMR. Now, as I always say that today's video is exciting, but this video is involving you, so it's so exciting, and I'm very, very happy to be doing this video since you all love the this or that would you rather questions. I asked you in the community tab, hopefully you didn't miss out, but I asked you all to finally grill me, because sometimes I'll notice a few of you will say, hey, I wonder what you would answer to this question. I would love to hear your answers to these, because I do ask you some quite difficult and personal ones, especially lately. I feel like they've been getting more difficult and more personal. So I'm pulling up my phone here, and I asked you in the community tab if you would love to ask me. So put me in the hot seat, and I basically just said, please give me your this or that or would you rather questions so that I can answer them in a video, and then in turn you would get to know me a little bit better through my answers. Typically I am a long-winded person who has trouble making decisions, so this will be quite fun. I have seen all of your questions for the most part. Some of you have asked more than one, which is fine. I didn't specify to only ask one. I left it open, so I will be answering every question you have. Hopefully I don't get too long-winded, but forgive me if I do. I will not be as quick as you are during those role plays where I just ask you and you answer almost immediately. Probably I'll give some things a little bit of thought, but I'm just going to scroll down the list. So reading in no particular order, just the order that I see here. I'm going to be reading your questions to me. So I'm going to be reading who they're from, reading your questions, and then answering them. So let's get started. Here is the first question in the this or that would you rather segment that we have, where I involve you, because I love involving you all. So this first question comes from Lot Veldhoen. Lot, or is it Lottie Veldhoen? Lottie, L-O-T-T-E. So I'm going to be reading your two questions because you have two. So you said, 1. Would you feel worse if no one showed up to your wedding or your funeral? That's a good question. I feel like I've asked something similar there. I think I've just given it some thought without realizing, but I would feel worse if no one showed up to my wedding, because I'm going to be there celebrating and I want my loved ones there celebrating too. I anticipate having a small wedding, so the few people I invite don't show up, that's trouble for me. And for my funeral, I'm already dead, so who cares? I think that would be sadder for my loved ones, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't bother me if no one showed up. Next, question number 2 from the same person. Good for you, you asked 2 questions. Would you rather mentally or physically never age? Holy moly. So this is a difficult one, because this implies that if you are not mentally aging, you're physically aging. So I will be like if I live to be 100, I'll be a 100-year-old person with the mind of myself right now, which is very fun, but also a little bit scary. Or 2, physically never age, but then mentally I would, so I would look like myself now. But when I'm 100, let's just say, God willing, I will mentally age, so I will look like myself, but I'll have the mind of a 100-year-old. In which case, it's very hard to say. Honestly, this is a very difficult one. It seems seemingly easy, but there's a lot to think about. I think that I will take, not to be too greedy, I think I will take the mentally not aging, because I just feel like I'm at an age where I would be comfortable to be this age mentally for the rest of my life. Hopefully it means I'll still be able to learn and improve and things like that, but if I physically don't age but I don't have the mental health, I don't know what good that would be, in the sense that I would just be like a super old person in a young body, you know? So I guess I'm thinking of it that way, although I would love to be not physically aging for the next 40 years or so, and then maybe I can just start to age. So I hope I answered your questions. Thank you so much, Lotte, L-O-T-T-E, or Lotte Veldoen. Next question I see here. 2 questions again. This is from Ash Artiano. Thank you so much, Ash. So, you asked me 2 questions. I'm going to read them and answer them. You said, would you rather have a big wedding and a weird flavored cake, or a small wedding but the cake is phenomenal? I think I almost answered that accidentally in the first one, but I'm going to, at least I'm planning to have a small wedding. So for me, a small wedding would be like around anything under, you can say like 70, 60 guests, you know? Super small, like maybe under 30. I don't think that's even possible just because of the amount of family, but I do want to have a small wedding. So I would definitely rather have a small wedding, but the cake is phenomenal, because I'm such a sweet person, so I would need a delicious flavored cake. Okay, next question, always from Ash. This is question number 2. You said, would you rather fly or read minds? That's so good. Sometimes I think if I could read minds, it would give me a huge disadvantage, because I think that the way people felt maybe about me, it would just bother me, you know? It would probably put me at such like an uneasy situation. So if I could read minds, maybe that would hurt me in a way, although it could definitely work to your advantage. As for flying, I would love to fly, but logistically, to fly in this world where no one else can fly and only you can fly, I don't even know if that's an advantage, unless I could do it in secret or something. So I just feel like for practicality, even though it might hurt me or upset me, I think I would probably rather read minds. And I feel like since I'm a Sagittarius, I'm such a curious person, so I would want to know what people are thinking, and then I could act accordingly. And you said, love your videos. And you, Lisa, hugs from California. You're so sweet. Even Lotte said, love your videos, by the way, so thank you both so much. Great questions. So we started off with 2 good questions from 2 different individuals, so I love that you guys gave such good questions so far. This next one is from Yell, Jelle, VDK, Yella. I pronounced it wrong in my last video, and I made a mental note. So now I'm going to remember that your name is pronounced Yella. Okay, so Yella said, that's such a cool idea. My suggestion would be, this is a good one good question. Would you rather do a collab with GB ASMR or Creative Calm ASMR? To be honest, my favorite ASMR artist of all time would have to be GB. I'm just completely obsessed with her. I love GB. I feel like I have like a girl crush on GB because, like, although I'm engaged, you know, I love GB. Don't tell my fiance, but I just love her so much, and I would definitely do a collab with GB over probably anyone. Although GB is like so good at what she does that I would feel like definitely intimidated, and it would give me a lot of anxiety thinking of collabing with her, unless I could be in her environment where she invites me over and we just like hang out together. But if it's like a long distance collab, I would be like, how do I measure up to this creature? She's just fantastic. So no offense to any other ASMR artists, because I love so many ASMR artists. There's so many phenomenal people, but truly, like, you couldn't have asked an easier question, because I just love GB. She's like chef's kiss. So thank you, Yell, for that question. I think someone, hang on, 2 replies. Yeah. I think someone wrote GB in the comments. he knows me, so he knows I would probably say that. You know, we've talked back and forth a bit, so I think that this person knows I would have said GB. Okay, oh goodness, 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 goodness. This next person asked tons of questions. Tons. So I think I'm going to just briefly skip this one for now, just so I can see how long it's taking me to get through all the questions. And then I'll save this one for last because it's like truly there's so many questions. So thank you. We're just going to quickly go over to the next person. And this is from Austin Sanchez. So Austin says, would you rather be able to visit your childhood and relive those moments, or guarantee 5 things in the future? This is a super good question. Oh my goodness. So visit your childhood and relive those moments, or guarantee 5 things in the future. As a nostalgic person, it's so tempting to be able to go back and relive certain moments. However, as I'm making this video, there's nothing I would particularly need to relive, in the sense that, like, I have my family, my close family with me, and of course it would be nice to see like my grandfather who passed away, let's say, and relive some things. I just feel like from my specific childhood, I mean, I would love to see my dogs again and all that, but from my childhood, although it was fantastic, I think I would rather guarantee myself 5 things in the future. For example, I could be smart about things and like guarantee the lives of people close by, that they're going to just make it with me, and that we'll be healthy and we'll go on into the future together, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. Because, like, of course, your biggest fear in life, typically, if you have close friends or family, you want those people to be with you always. So I think if I could guarantee that for like myself and my family, I would definitely do that. And I mean, I can always relive my childhood through videos and pictures and just moments, but to guarantee yourself 5 things in the future would be just such a stress relief, because they say if you suffer from depression, you know, your mind is in the past, and if you have a little bit of anxiety, typically you're just nervous about the future. So depressed about the past, or nervous about the future. I can see myself being someone who would suffer more from anxiety. So to be able to guarantee myself 5 comfortable things in my future would make me feel like a better person and just live better. So excuse my long-winded answer, Austin, but I just had to. And I love the name Austin. It's a fantastic name. So this next question is from Cups of Vix, VICZ. You said something so sweet. You're an amazing person, lolling, and I have a question. So you asked a question that wasn't phrased in the this or that, so I quickly answered your question, and then I asked you to hopefully think of a this or that question, or would you rather question for me. So you did. So you said, would you rather own a wombat or an elephant as a pet? A wombat or an elephant? Wombat. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google what exactly a wombat looks like. Wombat. I don't think we have this in Canada. Oh, it is a short-legged, muscular marsupial. So it's from Australia, which is interesting, which is why it didn't strike me as familiar, but I had a feeling it was small. So of course an elephant is gigantic and a wombat is very small, so for practicality it would be much easier to own a wombat. However, I love elephants. It's been like a dream of mine to just like interact, of course in their environment, so you do things in a nice way, but I would love to interact with an elephant. They just touch my heart so much, and I feel like there's a saying, elephants never forget. So they have like, I don't know, I just feel like they're probably such sensitive little souls who have like this, like, who knows, like sentimentality to them. I'm not quite sure how to describe the connection that I have with elephants, but I love elephants. I have an elephant statue somewhere in my room. So I would, if ideally I could choose, I would choose to own an elephant, which is very funny. Okay, next. This question is from Taylor B. Taylor says, would you rather be apart from society in a beautiful place doing things you love, but you can only see loved ones for 1 day a year, or in an ugly place living with your loved ones working a job you hate, and you're never alone. Oh my goodness, Taylor, this is so difficult because beautiful society, doing things you love, but you can only see loved ones for one day a year. So how would that work? Would my loved one be considered like my fiance? Because if I can only see him one day a year, it wouldn't work. However, that would also include my sisters, especially my sister that I currently live with. So it would be, I could never live without her for a year. One day a year is not enough, so I suppose I would have to just put myself in an ugly place, living with a loved one, working a job I hate, but I'm never alone. So that's not ideal, but I would definitely pick that one over not seeing my loved ones, I suppose. Next question. Thank you for that, Taylor. Thank you, everyone. In case I forget to thank you so much. Next is from Seth Giano, Seth Kno, and you said, would you rather be a fish or be a bird? Oh, okay. And then you asked another question. Okay, so would you rather be a fish or be a bird? I think I would rather be a bird because I think the idea of flying is something that as humans cannot experience. It's funny how these are sort of tied in because there was a question about flying. I think that I could always swim if I wanted to as a human, but I could never fly as a human, so I think being a bird would be more appealing in that situation. So yeah, I think I would choose being a bird because I suppose I'm also less afraid of heights than I am of being claustrophobic. So like being underwater, although it seems freeing and beautiful, I think I'd rather have the experience of being able to fly and soar great heights. And then you also said, alternatively, would you rather live underwater or live in the sky? Would you rather live underwater or live in the sky? So yeah, I think I kind of answered that. I would suppose I would rather live in the sky. This could potentially be a question of, are you claustrophobic or are you afraid of heights? In which case, I'm curious to know what you would say, because if you're claustrophobic and you would rather live in the sky, I think that would make a lot of sense to me. So let me know. Let me know if that works out to be the same. Then you also said, which I will share because I think it's a good message, you said, positive note for anyone reading this in the comments, remember that this is just a game and you don't need to choose between two things you want. There's a place in your life for all of it, which is a nice reminder. So although some of these situations can be terrifying, this is just a game. Okay, moving on, thank you. Next is from Angel Douglas. Hi, Angel. You said, would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors or go into the future and meet your great-grandchildren? I really like this question because I feel like I've asked you this before and it's always been something so interesting. So, go into the past and meet your ancestors or go into the future and meet your great-grandchildren? Goodness me, I suppose there is a possibility that I could meet my great-grandchildren if I mean, at this age, I don't think that that would even happen. I'd have to live to be super old, but there's always the possibility. However, I would be much more curious to go into the past and meet my ancestors because I just want to be, like, even if I couldn't meet them, even if I just could be a fly on the wall, I would really want to observe them and to see where they came from and to see their struggles and hardships and also the joys and good things in their life that led them here to, creating life, the life of my parents and myself and, future generations. So I think it would be so cool to go into my past. Love this. It would be really fun? It would be fun if everyone who asked me this question, if you could comment and answer the same question. I love that. So if you can, if you're watching this, I hope you are at this stage, please, if you've asked me a question, can you please comment with your answers to the questions you asked me? That way it's fair. I would love that. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you, Angel. Next, Nade. Nade said, I've been binge watching The Good Place. I think I've watched season 1. It was really fun. And you said, so I'm going to ask the classic ethical question. Would you rather kill one healthy person to save 5 sick people or let the 5 people die? Personally, it's very noble to be able to save 5 people at the sacrifice of one person. However, it's not so noble because you are getting your hands dirty and you're doing something that I feel goes against nature. You should never take the life of anyone, even if you think you're doing something good. So I honestly believe that these 5 sick people, you said let people die, and I guess we can assume that if they're so sick they will die, but truly, like, I wouldn't want to take someone else's life in place of theirs. And I suppose in this scenario they are all random people, so it's not like I would be sacrificing someone to save family members or vice versa. So if it's completely one random healthy person, 5 random sick people, either you kill one person to let 5 sick people live, or let 5 people die but you don't get your hands dirty. I wouldn't want to make that decision and kill anyone. So couldn't hurt a fly, couldn't hurt a person either in that sense. So definitely, unfortunately, I would have to let nature take its course in this scenario. And although it sounds awful, I mean, think about how you would feel if you had to personally take one person's life into your hands. I just think maybe that's the better answer. But what if I'm thinking about this wrong? Let me know what you think, Nate. Next question is from Raiden the Storm God. We have a god asking us a question. Ooh, I'm scared. Okay. You said, would you rather dedicate your remaining days to ponder the machinations? I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Machinations of the universe and be a loner, or live your remaining days out with friends and family without intellectual conquest at all? So I suppose machinations or machinations, sometimes when I see a word that I want to pronounce in Italian, it throws me in English. Even though, of course, English is my first language, but just in learning Italian throughout my life, I see this word and I want to say machinations or something. Machinations. So I'm actually curious. I have to Google this word. Machinations. Machination. So machination is a plot or a scheme. So essentially, would you want to dedicate your remaining days to ponder the plots or schemes of the universe and be a loner, which I love to imagine things, or live your remaining days out with friends and family without intellectual conquest at all? To be honest, the second option sounds more peaceful to me. I think I would want to be with friends and family, and it's okay if there's no intellectual conquest. We can just chill, eat good food and just be merry. Sometimes the more intellectual conquests there are, the more problems there are, It's sort of like a double-edged sword, if you will. So I think I would pick the option number 2 in that case. Although, as a curious individual who loves to ponder the meaning of life, it would feel a little bit like something is definitely missing. Next question. Okay, this one you asked quite a few. It wasn't as long as the other one, so I am going to read these just right off the bat. So, this is from BN. So thank you for your 4 questions. Here we go. You said the classic one. Would you rather marry the one you love or the one that loves you? Goodness, I feel like I would need to feel loved in a relationship. So more than likely, I would marry the one that loves me. However, if I could choose, I think I would be happier loving someone. Because if I felt like I didn't love someone, who cares if you're loved back? Like, you need to feel that passion in your bones. So I just feel like I would rather marry the one that I love, but chances are I would end up marrying the one that loves me. Not that that's happening right now. I would hope it's mutual, but I think I would choose that for sure. Number 2, would you rather time travel to the 90s or the future? I would rather time travel to the future because I've lived the 90s, so I kind of know what's going on there. And even though there's some happy moments, I'm very curious to know what the future would hold, but only provided that I can turn around and come back to where I am now. So just time travel's sake, I would be curious to see what the future holds. But if I couldn't come back, then I would rather go back and have to relive things. I'm trying to answer this fast because there's 4 questions. So the 3rd question you asked, BN, you said, would you rather never wear makeup again or never brush your hair again? I'd rather never brush my hair because makeup makes me feel like there's like a way to express yourself with makeup that hair just wouldn't do for me. However, I didn't even brush my hair today. I actually slept on my curls and filming. So I would want to wear makeup unless I was just naturally completely flawless. But I mean, I couldn't imagine like going to an event like my wedding and just not wearing a stitch of makeup. It would take my confidence away. It would just take my confidence away. So if I never brushed my hair again and it just got really messed up, I would simply shave it off and wear a wig. No big deal. Next, question number 4. Would you rather never having to wash the dishes again or never having to do the laundry? Good question. Honestly, both tasks can be simple with the help of a machine. So currently the way I do things is that if there's like a dish or something simple, I'll just quickly wash and put it away. However, I do have a dishwasher as well. I'm lucky enough to have a laundry machine and a dryer, so it's quite simple. But I suppose you mean like everything that goes involved with that, you know, washing pots and pans and like taking your laundry and folding it. My worst task is taking my laundry and folding it and putting it away. So if I had to choose, sometimes the dishes can be like even meditative when you're washing dishes, what have you, but laundry is just like, I loathe doing the laundry. So I would rather never have to do the laundry ever again. So thank you, Bien, but both are very tempting. Next is from Esme. Esme, hello. Esme Habraken, and you said, would you rather live in Italy or Canada if you couldn't leave the country ever again? Esme, good question, good question. I've actually had to deal with this question head on, as in my earlier years, I was in a long distance relationship with a man from Rome, and eventually in a long distance relationships can work, but you need an end goal. And typically I feel as though it would have made more sense for me to live there, but I could never live there and he could never live here. You know, I found the one Italian who did not want to leave Italy, because a lot of them do want to leave Italy. I feel like they assume that there's more opportunity for them, like in Canada or somewhere. This Italian was fine in Italy, and I love Italy, and I love Rome with a passion, and I feel like a part of my soul is like, just, it's been taken away from me, not being able to definitely travel to Rome in the current climate that we're in, but also like when that relationship had to run its course, and I knew I would have to say goodbye to Rome and Italy in the way that I knew it. It broke my heart, but I've made that decision. So I guess I would rather live in Canada, although I wouldn't. The main issue with that is the fact that I wouldn't have had my family with me in Italy, so I would have been with just me and him and his family, and I just couldn't picture eventually raising kids and living my life in a different country from my family, but only with his family. I suppose it's easier if you meet in the middle and you're both, you know, on an even playing field. So I've made this decision, although I give my ancestors a hard time for coming to Canada. When I said, why did you come here? We should have just all lived in Italy and lived happily ever after. You can't leave your family and you can't leave your comforts. It's difficult, at least for me. Of course anyone can do that, but it was hard for me. So revealing a huge little piece of my soul to you all, but I would definitely rather live in Canada, provided that my loved ones are here. If we can all go to Italy, I would truly pick them all up and just go back to Italy, because I love Italy so much. Okay, that was difficult to answer, but I answered that. Oh, thank you, Esme. I see BN asked one more question. I'm just scrolling past and I'm seeing it now, and you said, would you rather eat sweet or savory for the rest of your life? Which is a very good question. I have a huge sweet tooth. I love sweets. Sometimes my fiance says, you cook like a Michelin star chef and you eat like a 5-year-old, because sometimes I'll make him like these wonderful gourmet meals, you know, salmon and this and that, what have you. And for myself, I'll like want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I eat too many sweets. So it'd be to my advantage if I would say savory, but I honestly would rather eat sweets, although you can't live like that. So realistically, if I had to choose, I think I would say savory for just my overall health, but I would say sweets for my mental health, because I need my sweets. Okay, but if I'm picking savory, but I love sweets. Next, this is from Seagram. Okay, I think you've asked a few questions here, so I see 2 comments from you. So you said, Seagram, you said, would you rather eat sweets or home cooked meals? Good question, similar to what we touched upon. I would rather eat sweets because home cooked meals, like, I think I outgrew that a long time ago, you know, with my parents separating and my sisters and I, like, especially me and my younger sister, we kind of just like always have been cooking for ourselves since like our even teenage years. So like the luxury of a home cooked meal is sort of gone for me. It would be me probably doing the home cooking, and I think I would just rather eat sweets if that was the case, because like who cares, right? Even though I'm a good cook. And next you also said, would you rather grow up as a kid now or grow up as a kid before technology? Grow up as a kid before technology the way that I did, because I'm old and I got to experience, I was sort of on the cusp of experience my childhood pre-internet, but also my childhood with internet, like the early days of internet. I think I've talked about in the past MSN days and like the joys of that, and so I suppose if it would have to be before technology, it's even before that, but I think that was a much simpler time, much better time, so I would definitely choose that. Okay, and I apologize if I'm doing things with my hands. It's been brought to my attention that sometimes I do things that can have a meaning, but truly, I'm just a talker with my hands and I just do things, so ignore my hands, they mean nothing. Okay, just so you know. Just to clarify, I'm trying really hard not to do too much, but it's like safety blanket for me, you know? I just talk with my hands, it's like a thing. And next, Seagram, you also said in a different comment, would you rather live a normal life expectancy or be able to have your conscience uploaded into a computer and live forever through the internet and machines? Keep in mind you would never sleep, rest, or anything. Oh my goodness. Live a normal life expectancy or have your conscience uploaded. I would rather live a normal life expectancy because I have a firm belief that this is not it for us, so I wouldn't necessarily want my conscience uploaded to a computer and I would be not sleeping, resting, or anything. I just want to, hopefully in many years from now, pass naturally, comfortably, and experience the next journey ahead, because this is not the end, this is just the beginning of a journey that we have that lies ahead of us. So I would definitely pick the first option, normal life expectancy. Thank you for that. Next, Ravenger of Noobs, you said, my name is Chris in case you use mine. Of course, I'm using all of yours. So, Chris asks, would you rather always be able to see 30 seconds into your own future or always be able to go back in time and change other people's lives? Goodness, 30 seconds into my own future? I suppose that would really help me into my own future, but I suppose that could even selfishly help my loved ones, because if I could see something bad happening, I don't know, that's so hard to say. Or always be able to go back in time and change other people's lives. But see, if you went back in time and changed other people's lives, I'm going to assume that this is going to affect your future, so I feel like you would never return to the same present state. Kind of like that movie where there's the time traveler and him and his father. I think it's called In Time, or I can't remember, but I love that movie. And so I think he was time traveling, and there's a point in it where if he time travels and changes this thing, there's a certain outcome that would in the future that would change. I believe it's like I don't want to give anything away from that, but it's kind of like that situation in case you want to watch that movie. But I suppose I would have to just be able to see 30 seconds into my own future, because to go back and change someone else's life, what if I think I'm doing them good, but it ends up being a disservice? I don't think I can live with myself, so leave the past where it lies, but seeing 30 seconds into the future could potentially help, although I would constantly be in a state of disarray, like, is this really happening? Am I imagining it? Or, it's a very difficult question. Very good one, Chris. That was hard, but I'm going to say 30 seconds into my own future, provided that I can turn that off if I want to, Okay. Next, Dan the Homo sapien says, would you rather never need to sleep again or never starve? Okay, never need to sleep again or never starve. I assumed that if I never slept again, I would always just feel well slept and not exhausted, and never starve would just mean I would never have to have the fear of going hungry. I suppose I would rather never need to sleep or never starve. Well, this is a good one. Would I rather never starve or never need to sleep again? If I never slept again, but I was always well rested and comfortable, I think I would be able to get a lot done, although that would drive me crazy because I do love sleeping and dreaming and having that reset to shut it all off. So suppose I would choose never starve, although in my current situation that's not affecting me. And if it was ever to affect me, I would be concerned about my loved ones around me starving. So hard to say. Maybe this means just never have to eat again, but I love food, so I don't know. This is a difficult one, but I think I do love sleep and I love the ability to shut off. So I kind of would just rather just never starve if that's the case. Thank you, Dan. Next is from Remus M. Remus, you said, would you rather live in a utopian past or in a dystopian future for eternity? This one is easy for me because I would rather live in a utopian past, because a dystopian future for eternity would be very depressing. So although you're progressing and you're in the future, if it's not very good, just plop me anywhere into the past as long as it's utopian and I'm happy. So I'd rather live in a utopian past for sure. This next question is from In the Tea Room. You said, Bella Tizia sei sempre una shot. You're so cute. You wrote in Italian. I love that. So you said, would you rather never drink alcohol again or caffeine? And you said in brackets, you specified, which is always nice. You said anything caffeinated, tea, coffee, sodas, etc. You know, as someone who needs their coffee in the morning, because I'm the kind of person who wakes up and I have to have something sweet with my coffee. It's like a very typical Italian style breakfast. And I do love a good tea. I love to make a tea later at night. Love to make a tea during the day. I love caffeine. I mean, even sodas I could do without, but I need my caffeine in the form of coffee and tea. So I would just skip alcohol. I'm not a huge alcohol drinker. I would miss some things like the nice Aperol Spritz in the summertime and so on, but I definitely would rather never drink alcohol again because I can't give up caffeine. So let me know what you think as well. Next is from Missy. Missy loves music. Hi Missy. You said, would you rather live forever or die young? You have two questions, so let's answer this. Live forever or die young? See, if I were to die young, I suppose it would be probably dying either now or even in the past, in which case that would terrify me. And if I died young, it would be so sad for my family who loves me, my fiance who loves me, people who depend on me, my dog. It would be tragic. I suppose I would rather live forever. Although I read that book, Addie LaRue, can't remember the full title, and it was good. It's a really good book. I'm going to insert it in the description bar if you want to check it out. I think it's called The Curious Case of Addie LaRue, or no, I can't ever remember this title, but I read this last year, and essentially the premise is that she never dies, so she lives forever. She doesn't age, she just simply lives forever. And I think that I would rather, even though that can be very depressing and you'd have to essentially see all your loved ones go eventually, I suppose I would rather live forever than die young. That's so hard, you know? So many great people have died young in life, and I don't think I would be one of them in this case. I think I would live forever. And then you said, 2, would you rather read minds or rewind time? Now, thinking about this, it seems like it would be so fun to read minds, but as I sort of answered earlier, that could also be to my disadvantage, because maybe it would make me not dislike people, but if they thought mean things about me, you know, how could I feel like I wear my emotions on my face, so how can I just go on and act like everything's okay? But the ability to rewind time when I wanted to would be very convenient, because if something bad happened to my loved ones, I could rewind time and change that, you know. Why am I always thinking the worst, that people are gonna be taken from me? But I suppose I would rather rewind time to just even relive good moments or save future moments that could be going disastrously wrong. So the ability to rewind time means you can even change things. And I would rather do that. That's very tempting. The next question is from Lance Schaffen. So Lance said, would you rather relive your past or go the future and live, love Lance? I think I would rather relive my past because... Oh, I think you said... Oh, I think I'm reading this wrong. You said, Lance said, would you rather relive your past or go to the future and live? And then I think you just meant to say love Lance. So thank you, Lance. I think I would rather relive my past because to skip things and just go into the future, I would be robbing myself of time. So I suppose I'd rather relive time, even the bad moments, if it meant that I wouldn't have to skip anything, you know? Although there's some things that you'd like to skip, some days that you're not anticipating, but I would definitely just rather go into the past and relive things. Not change anything, but just to end up here so that I could naturally progress. Thank you, Lance. The next question is from Michael P. And Michael says, oh, you said you'll think of a few, but you didn't, Michael. Michael, the time has passed, Michael P. So no question from you. Hopefully next time I hope I can do this again and include even more of you. So next, Dancing Sounds ASMR said, mountain vacation or beach vacation? And I suppose I would say beach because I know that's going to be very relaxing, but I don't think I've ever done a mountain vacation, and I think that would be fun for me because there's nothing like relaxing and just lounging at a beach and just being very relaxed. However, I do get bored when I'm traveling. I need to always be seeing or doing something or just exploring, so maybe I'm going to surprise myself and I'm going to say mountain vacation because I've never done that and I think it would be just like fun to experience. So I'm going to say mountain now, but if I had to only pick ever again between mountains or beach vacations in my life, I would say beach. Goodness, I think I'm talking so fast. I think I'm thinking fast and talking fast. Okay. Next is from Rise Van der Merwe, M-E-R-W-E. Rise Van said, would you date your best friend or your co-worker? I recently subscribed to your channel. Your videos help with my mental health problems. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much, Rise. Would you rather date your best friend or your co-worker? Interesting. I think I would rather date my best friend because the person that I end up dating instantly becomes my best friend anyhow. Like my fiance is truly my best friend. So I suppose you could just cut to the chase and just date your best friend. In which case I would, although I don't have any guy best friends, so that would be an interesting situation. But co-workers, I mean, I don't know. I would just probably rather date my best friend. In this case, I think maybe logistically it would be easier to date a coworker maybe, but that's just the first thought that came to my mind. Thank you for that so much, and thank you for watching. Next is from Amaresh Jr. Amaresh Jr. says, would you be a world richest person and have a sad life, or always happy with a middle class life? These days, I think you're lucky to even be middle class. So if I could be middle class and always happy, I would feel like the world's richest person. So I would definitely choose that. Although I'm sure it's appealing to be like living large, like a Jeff Bezos type or so on. But if I had to be sad, what is the point of living? You know, riches will only get you so far, but you have to be rich in your heart. So happy and middle class is like no brainer for me. That's super, super, super ideal. I strive to be that. Okay, so next, this person asked a question, but then it wasn't phrased in a would you rather, and it was very intense. So you asked another one, which is super sweet too. So this is Camelot English Tuition, and you said, would you rather impress someone with your beauty or your brains? I would rather impress someone with my brains, because it's nice if someone says you're beautiful, but then you're like, is that all there is? You know, there's more going on. So if someone was impressed by my wits, I feel like that's like one of the most rewarding compliments, because it's like, you know, something that can't necessarily be taken away from you, right? Where your beauty will fade and so on and so forth. And then you also asked another one, would you rather live without taste, food, or smell? So the interesting thing about losing both is that when you lose your smell, that is the only reason why you're losing your taste, because you're losing your smell. But in this scenario, if I had to choose, and ideally I would only have to lose one or the other, I would definitely rather lose my smell. Although smell is wonderful and it's tied to memories and it's beautiful, living without food, you can ask my fiance, like I had no desire to wake up in the morning because I'm like, I can't even taste my breakfast, I can't taste my coffee, like what is the point? So that really brought me down. So definitely I'd rather lose my smell 100%. Although I love smells, I love good perfumes, cologne and all this stuff, I would miss that. Now, I'm going back up the list because I said I'm going to answer this super long one, so hopefully I'll be quick about it. I'll try not to overthink and over-explain. I didn't realize how long this video is getting. It's like completely drained my battery, which is exciting. Now this is from Basil. Basil. In Italian, it's basilico. So Basil said, sounds fun, I've thought of some too. So you thought of a bunch, so I'm just going to read them off, and I'm going to try to answer quickly. You said, would you rather have to watch your favorite show 10 times consecutively before you can watch anything else, or your least favorite 2 times before you can? And I think just to save time here, the first thing that's coming to my mind is I'd rather watch my least favorite show 2 times before watching my favorite show 10 times. Just because I love finding and watching new shows, and I would just probably get the least favorite one over with twice, then watch my favorite one 10 times. It would just be very difficult. I don't even think I would make it to any new shows anytime soon. So that's an interesting question. Very interesting. We could deep dive in that one, but I'm just going to say that for now. Next, you said, would you rather have unlimited internet access anywhere you go, but your browsing history is made public, or only have 2 hours of internet access a day? I'd rather have only 2 hours of internet access a day because I could live with that, you know? I could record my videos, upload them, use my internet access for that, and still have enough time to browse and do some socials and do some research and be fine with that. I think 2 hours a day would actually be very healthy. For me, I could get a lot of more reading done and editing done, tasks done, so I would definitely choose that because I would not want my browsing history to be made public. Can you imagine? Not that I'm like browsing anything crazy, but like there's some embarrassing things that you're searching. No way. So, next question. You said, this is a good one, would you rather have the ability to teleport anywhere but be unable to teleport back for a month, or have the ability to fly but for only 30 minutes a week at incredibly slow speeds? If I could teleport but wouldn't be able to teleport back for a month, I mean, you could cheat and you could like teleport yourself to like, you know, a nearby store and simply walk home, I suppose. But if I wanted to teleport, I would teleport myself to Italy. And so to be unable to teleport back for a month, I mean, there would be some benefits to that. Fly, but only 30 minutes a week at incredibly slow speeds. I mean, that would still be fun too. Oh my goodness. I think I would take the teleport thing because I would secretly just teleport myself to fun vacations. Although logistically that wouldn't work very well for me, but it's a little bit more, just a little bit more enticing than flying super slow speeds for just like not at all. So that one. Next, you said, would you rather be unable to lose weight but also unable to gain weight, or be unable to gain muscle mass but unable to lose it either? If I could just like get to my goal weight and then pick the first one, I would. But supposedly right now, I mean, I suppose I would sign up for the fact no weight gain but no weight loss either. Suppose I would pick the first one. But if I could just reach my ideal weight and then go with that, it would be a no-brainer, because then I would just eat unlimited sweets and dessert and food, and I would just be super happy and stress-free. The muscle, it's okay, but I mean, I suppose that would come in handy definitely later in life when you're old and you lose your muscle mass and things like that. But yeah, the first one for just pure fun, gluttonous reasons. Okay. Next, you said, would you rather spend a day in the life of your favorite fictional character, or spend a week with them in the real world? Spend a day in the life with your favorite fictional character, or spend a week with them. Who would be my favorite fictional character? I couldn't even say. I mean, from a book, the first character that comes to mind would be Henry from The Time Traveler's Wife. Spend a day in the life of them, or spend a week. I think I would supposedly rather spend a week with them. That would be very fun, but I don't think my fiance would be very happy. So hard to say, oh my gosh. think I'd rather spend a week with them in the real world. I just think that would be fun. No matter who my favorite fictional character is, I think that would be funner than actually living like them for only one day. So I would choose a week with them. I think that would be very, very exciting. Fictional character, very cute. Okay. Next you said, would you rather be able to gain food for free anywhere you want or gain free clothes from anywhere you want? You can resell either choice. I think I spend more money on probably food than clothes. But the clothes you can like really go like crazy, but I think I don't spend much on my clothes as it is, and I think I like to spend money more on accessories than clothes anyway. So I think just free food anywhere would just be like ideal, and then I would just be able to buy food for my family members like for life, and we wouldn't have to worry about that, and that would give me the ability to have extra money to sort of buy the clothes that I want without going crazy. I don't think I need unlimited clothes, but man, that's enticing. I think gain free food anywhere forever, even though like, I don't know, they're both so good. I think I'm just gonna say the food one for now. Okay, next question. You said always the same person. Okay, so always Basil. You've asked a ton of questions, but they're so good, so I have to answer them all. You said, would you rather understand every language known to the world, but irreversibly become mute, or stay able to speak but completely forget your native tongue and learn a new random one? You can still relearn it, but at the same rate you currently would. What? That's crazy. I would never want to become mute or unable to speak, so I think that I would have to completely forget my native one. I would learn Italian, and then I would take it upon myself to learn English again, because I think learning English is easier than learning Italian anyhow, so it's like almost killing two birds with one stone. So that's what I would pick. The second option, I'll just forget English, and then you'll just be seeing all Italian ASMR videos from me until I learn English again. So that one, interesting. Next, I think there's only 3 questions left. You said, would you rather live a life of luxury but in a rundown studio apartment your entire life, or live a modest life but in an incredibly lavish home? I'd rather live a modest life in an incredibly lavish home, because I've always fantasized about having an incredibly lavish home, although it's like, you know, material things are such BS, but I think if I lived a modest life, for me that's good enough, and the fact that I would have a lavish home is like the cherry on top. So if I had a life of luxury but in a rundown, like not enticing surrounding, I think that would just bring me down, because your surroundings are quite important. So I would choose the last one. Lavish home, modest life for me, perfect. Next, would you rather always receive the newest video games for free but only be able to play each for 2 hours every 2 days, or be able to watch all the latest movies you want a week before they are set to release but only one a month? You can still pay for either choice normally. I'm not a huge video gamer, so I suppose maybe my fiance would pick the first one, but I do love watching movies, but only one a month is like, oh, you know. But I suppose how many do you really watch anyway? I think I would choose the movie one. As I'm filming this, the Oscars are coming out tonight, and I'm excited to watch because I like to hear about all the good movies to watch and put it on my list. And I just think watching free movies before they even release is very exciting, so I would definitely choose that one. As for gaming wise, I mean, the only games I've really cared about purchasing were from my Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 when I was younger, and then I got my fiance a PS5, and then we played Sackboy, which was like amazing. Oh my god, amazing, so fun. And then as for me, I just love The Sims, so I'm just like a huge diehard Sims fan, but I can just purchase those myself, so it'd be more convenient, the movie one for me. So the movies. Lastly, would you rather be only able to eat junk food your entire life, or completely give up snacks and junk food forever? Love me some snacks, love me some junk food, and I would definitely have to give that up for the sake of my health, because if I had to choose, I would just make myself meals that would be fun and fulfilling while giving up snacks and junk food. So I would do that, although I love a good snack and junk food. Then you said, oh, I said I can't, I hope I can answer them all. You said, oh, you don't have to, any or whatever, but I'm happy to answer them all. So I'm glad I got to this last, because it was actually fun to end on this note. All of your questions are fantastic. You are all fantastic. I'm so tempted to take these and make a video role play with your questions. Let me know if I should do that, or if you just don't want to hear them again, but I feel like they were so good and I just don't want them to just disappear like that. You thought of fantastic questions. It was incredible, but my battery's flashing, so I'm going to have to quickly end this. But thank you so much for participating. I so look forward to seeing you in my next video. I love you all so much. I care for you all so much. And I'm so happy that you can be here with me, asking me these questions, and hopefully this gave you the opportunity to get to know me a little bit better as well. If you can't answer the questions that you asked me, or if you didn't make it on time to ask me the questions, I'll hopefully do this again. So please give me your feedback and let me know if you like this video and you want to see more. But my battery is flashing. I've been filming for 1 hour and this was so much fun. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much, and I just love and care for you so much. And I'm so happy to be a part of this wonderful community together. Thank you. Sorry for my speed at the end, but I just want this video to last, and it was perfectly long. Perfect. So good night, everyone. Good night. Sweet dreams. Happy relaxation. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for your questions.